Good evening. This is Brother Eric. Got your Chicago Transit Justice Coalition Unofficial Local 308 membership meeting report for May of 2023. King Costa showed up today. King Costa, the international president of the ATU, John Costa, showed up. He got to do a little speech. He talked about his contracts and his background and the locals in New Jersey, his positions. He had some interesting quotes. When the shit hits the fan, it's better to be by the fan. He likes to visit in person. He says the real office is in the field. In Chicago, he said he's here for quote unquote business. He acknowledged Ken Franklin, a former president, said he's very concerned with safety. He said people don't want to work anymore. He sounds like a manager. And he said we're finding ways to get people to come to work. He sounds like such a manager. Thank you for your sacrifice. Oh, it's another manager. We don't come to work to sacrifice, John Costa. We come to work to make some money so that we can eat and pay the rent. You think this is the Marines or something? We going to Fallujah? I mean, what? So I personally invited John Costa. He had any questions. I personally invited him to Howard's shop. I told him to come and see the safety, the death traps we have there. I said, come and visit O'Hare or Forest Park terminals on the Blue Line. Talk with the operators who are being run into the ground. I talked about some of these extra runs. They're putting them on for 12 hours. That's crazy, man. Communication and bills. Secretary Lane was very, very... these union people were on such good behavior. If anyone was naughty, it was me. And I'm proud to say I was naughty. But they were behaving so well. Good job, old fart Dixon. And Deborah, get cozy with the boss Lane. You behaved yourselves. You didn't even make all them funny faces you make. And threatening to adjourn the meeting. And Deborah Lane didn't even walk out. She stayed for the whole meeting. She didn't even walk out. I was really impressed. We have a scholarship for union training, so we went ahead and we passed a motion for those members that are going to that union training to get their salary paid for the time they missed work. I thought that was good. That was appropriate, but everything else was not. We have a cookout for the pensioners on June 24th. We spent $1,500 on that. We're going to donate to Operation Push, $500 for that. We have an International Women's Conference, $2,500, and then another $125 for that. Breakfast with Mayor Brandon Johnson in Arise Chicago, $750. Talked about the taxes being real high, so we're paying $14,000, $4,000, and $4,000 because the union office properties are on 3 parcels of land. That's a lot of money. That's $18,000 in taxes for the installment. So it sounds like, I could be wrong, that was just for the 6 months. So it might be actually 20 or I don't know. Someone do the math. We have I had to round it off, 302,000 in the bank. We got a total deposits of 190, total spending of 203. As usual, we're spending more than we're taking in. Grievance fund is 62,000, which is pretty good. Building fund 13,000. It's been that way for 5 years, it seems. Shout out to Jermaine Dixon of the apprenticeship program. He came in with King Costa. I thought he was his bodyguard. He had these big pumping biceps. I thought he was his bodyguard, but he's not. Or maybe he doubles as his bodyguard. I don't know. I talk about their apprentice program. I'm very skeptical of this thing for the repairers. Very, very skeptical because they're just not telling us anything. We're not, you know, the rail car repairers are just not a part of the discussion. So I'm very skeptical. But he says it's opportunity to gain skills. He thanked John Costa and Eric Dixon to make it happen. We have to fight for everything we want, he says. But he's then tells us later that we're getting a $90 million grant to do this, a grant, so that we don't have to ask our employer for it. So we're not fighting for it, are we? So I don't know. I'm skeptical. Okay, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying I'm skeptical. Can you fault me? Grievances, getting many people, arbitrations to come back. Probably being fired on stuff that they shouldn't be fired on anyways, but that's still good. Some were deferred to next month. So we had two grievances. One was regarding a procedural write-up for someone that misplaced their radio or didn't have their radio on them, and the CTA wrote them up, but that person's retired now, so whatever. And then another was regarding sick book entries, and the coworker was in a car accident, so was out for 2 days, took hits, So we can't arbitrate it because the CTA says they're following corrective action guidelines. Fine. So I pointed out, well, we should just fight it anyways because it's not fair. But we should fight as a union. I'm not saying arbitrate. I'm saying fight. But they don't want to fight. They don't. Especially Boss Dixon. Especially John Costa. And John Costa, King Costa was lying to y'all at the membership meeting. He was talking about, I was going to ask people I was asking the members, if we should fight with COVID and shut it down. We should shut it down. But the locals didn't want to shut it down. Man, you shut down the membership meetings. You couldn't even hear the voice of the members. And the members that did do work stoppage, strikes, shut it down, you like hardly said anything about it. And we got it in writing, you saying, no, we can't strike COVID because of this, and this. I mean, man, these people, I'm telling y'all, ATU is garbage. It's a horrible, horrible union. It's stinky diaper union. The stinky diaper. I mean, I'm talking about burritos with salsa, stinky diapers. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's how stinky ATU is. A stinky diaper union. They don't want to fight. They don't like fighting. They like money. They like parties, and they like booze. And it shows it. They don't even care about democracy. And they say Robert's rules. Man, I made motions that were seconded, and Eric Dixon didn't like them, so he said they're out of order. I said, just let it go to a vote. Let it go to a vote. And there's King Costa right there, all silent. I'm looking at King Costa like, do you see this? Do you see this? And he's like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So grievances, I'm almost done with your notes. Okay, so we have a class action with the Universal Rail Supervisors. It's going to arbitration. Remember, with the Yardmaster, y'all doing Yardmaster work, and then Mark Williams says, we decided to send. No, I think he said that the board decided. No, the membership decided. The membership overrode it. Brother Mark, you fought that. So, and contract proposal meetings are going on. Okay, the extra runs, we have this grievance that, so look, y'all on them extra runs, you train operators, 8 hours. That's it, 8 hours, okay? And it's in the contract anyways. I don't even know why we had to go to arbitrator for it. You know what I mean? It's just like, but it's there. Okay, plus there is a agreement that I got as a steward and other stewards got think Brother James Battle, he sent it to me like right there in the meeting. So I'll try to get that for y'all if you want it. Just let me know. And so, by the way, this 90 million grant includes child care expenses. And I just want to say something. Sister Cheryl, Sis Drunk was there, and I heard her say something about like we need to use that money for the CSAs, and I agree. But here's the thing: they don't want it. I mean, they just want easy money. The union people, the ATU just wants easy money. They want a grant. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna pay. Like if you were there when John Costa was talking, he was telling us. I almost fell asleep. Okay, John Costa, you got to work on your topics, but he was there talking about all these organizations he's with and why he's here in Chicago, basically making excuses why he can't visit Howard Shop or visit Forest Park or O'Hare terminals. But they want easy money. They don't want to fight. They don't want to organize the members to shut stuff down, to march in the boss. They want to make friends with the boss and bribe the politicians so the politicians will give us some grant money. Okay, so Sister Cheryl, what we got to come up with is we got to come up with some kind of grant program. Isn't that ridiculous? Our employers should be paying us and helping with the child care and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We give our lives to this place. Help us out. Full-time jobs for all. It's simple. Child care for the single moms. Simple. That's it. Okay? All them single moms on the midnights. Whatever. 24-hour child care. It's not that hard. We could spend $100 billion on wars that these Democrats and these Republicans love, that we vote for all the time. They're voting for vote, riding with Biden as he bombs people into oblivion. But we can't afford jobs and housing for everybody in Medicare, Medicaid for all. Give me a break. Terminal supervisor premium is going to be extended another year or two. I think he said 2 or maybe 1. We got a new guy, Paul Sidrick or something, on the pension board, and they interviewed him, and they're going to use modern technology to communicate with the pension, with the members who are in the pension. Wouldn't that be nice if we use modern technology as Local 308? Nah. Like Brother Jeter told me, too much like right, brother. Almost done. CSAs, if you don't have good chairs, President Dixon says, you need to let them know in the union office so that we can get those new chairs for you. And it's funny because I was ranting about that not too long ago. Crazy Eric Basir, the boogeyman. They hate me, but they do listen. If you're missing keys, customer assistance, anything you're missing, you're supposed to have on your KDAR, that little checklist, let the controllers know so that they don't try to write you up for not having it. Towerman, watch out. Safety is visiting you. The safety department is going to be visiting you, people. I meant to ask, okay, so can we just invoke our Weingarten rights and not answer questions without union representation? And that's what I suggest y'all do as Towermen. If the safety guy visits you, hey, let me ask you a question. What were you doing and such and blah, blah, blah. Say, is this going to involve discipline for me or anybody else? And if they say yes, it could. You have the right for union representation. But of course, they may say I'm misinforming you. So ask old fart Dixon, just to be sure, because he knows the contract in the ATU Constitution. Watch out, supervisor, Universal Rail supervisors. You're being hit for not tapping out at terminals, but apparently Mark Weems is able to try to help mitigate that. But he said, but if you're a point supervisor, make sure you're tapping at the station, okay, with your ID. Bling, bling, and push that turnstile. State police and county sheriff, President Dixon, and had a meeting with Boss Hill and Mr. 33% Dorval Carter. They're working on some things. Working on some things. Working on some things. Like, they're going to have sheriff and state police get those bad guys. They're working on some things. Yeah. And when riots are going on, we are asking the CTA to stop sending operators into riot zones. It's a good idea. Watch out, y'all. There's some people that are falsifying records to withdraw from their 457 plans. Deferred comp. Now, it's your money, but don't be falsifying stuff, because apparently some people are getting fired for it. We had an election for some interim, so we have Sister Jawanda on the west section, and then we got Brother Atkins and for instructors, so instructor clerks, and Tony Jones as assistant. I wish you clerks would have ran. We need some clerks in there. It's always supervisors. Why don't we have some clerks? I tried to get y'all to come and run, but oh well. Coworker was concerned about the migrants, so and the language barriers. So basically, there was a lot of frustration, understandably. And there's a little cultural insensitivity, because they're not really, but that's okay, because it's really not, it's not okay, but that wasn't the problem. The problem is these politicians are playing games with people's lives, and they are ruining Venezuela and other countries in Latin America, and those people are coming into the United States, and the sanctuary cities are being sent these poor, desperate people, and it is causing conflict as we fight over crumbs from our oppressors. Yeah. If you speak some Spanish, it's real helpful, and but you are not a translator. Okay, that's not your job. But you certainly, if you know Spanish and people come up to you, speak Spanish, and you're on the front line, definitely try to talk to them, because a lot of these people that are coming right now, they don't know any English. Okay, and don't if they're jumping the turnstile, going under the turnstile, whatever, just record it, just note it. No, don't argue. Okay, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And the CTA, the President Dixon said something that I thought I was smart, and he said the CTA is not going to do anything about it, so neither should we. So let them people go and just tally them off, okay? And report it. So Lori Lightfoot's political coordinator. Our Secretary of Treasurer said that it's going to be a state of emergency probably here in Chicago regarding these people that are coming into the city. It might be up to 200 a day, or it's looking like 200 a day. So, and one of our Blue Line RTO suggested, he helped, people, because he speaks Spanish. I speak some too, and I'd like to help, and I do try to help people who speak Spanish. And some CAs are saying, God, I'm just desperate to help these people. They just want to help. The customer assistant just wants to help people, so they sneak the phone and translate, But be careful, right? Because you can get written up for that, right? Scarfield Station, apparently there was some shooting or something happened there. So Sister Cheryl brought that up. Said, hey, we're going to look out for these people. Are we looking out for them? And Sister Penny said, yeah, I visited. I said, okay. And Brother Mark suggested, make sure that they do the injured on duty process. So a motion was made for a strike authorization vote caucus, a committee, and by a member, and it was seconded, and President Dixon said, "It's out of order. It's out of order. It's out of order. No." Typical. I said, "Okay, but it's out of order, but it was seconded, so can we have a vote?" I knew there wasn't going to be a vote, so I spoke up. I said, "This motion deserves a vote. It deserves a vote." No, it's out of order. I said, I look at King Costa, I'm like, "You see this? It's a motion. It has to get, it's seconded. It was seconded and it needs a vote. It's probably not going to win." Also, we had charges on Orvin Hurst and him, Boss Dixon, and he's saying all these freaking lies. He's saying, "No, I told you last week you didn't have the right signature." I said, "No, that was charges on Deborah Lane. We have charges on you and charges on Orvin Hurst." He says, "You didn't give it to Orvin." How am I going to give it to Orvin Hurst? He told me if I contact him, he's going to call EEOC on me. Would you give it to him? Where does it say? I followed the Constitution. You didn't follow the Constitution. I did follow the Constitution. What about the charges on you? I brought up how he collaborated with managers to block me from representing members. And, he said, no, it's out of order. Like, what everything's out of order with this jackass. And it's a sad thing, y'all. Even when you follow the bylaws of Local 308 and you follow the Amalgamated Transit Union Constitution, the president does whatever he wants, and the international president sat there quiet, didn't say nothing. So I went off on it. Was the end of the meeting. I called all of them people sellouts, bootlickers. They don't care about us. We're dying out here. And I called them MFs and dumbasses and everything. And I told them the members are going to take over our union. You'll see. And they laughed and they shut the door. And that was good. I'm glad. And some of y'all say, Brother Eric, you can't be losing your temper and you can't be going off like that. I can do whatever I want to do. And you don't like the way I talk to these sellouts who keep violating your right, our rights, our democratic rights. From King Costa all the way to Eric Dixon. You all look at me like I'm the problem. You saw how calm and respectful I was, yet he disrespects us. And that's what they are. They're scum. The ATU, the Amalgamated Transit Union, is a garbage union. It is bad. It is pro-CTA. It is pro-politician, specifically the Democratic Party. And the Republican Party ain't no good either. But I'm telling you, if you all don't get involved in this union, and you keep letting people like me go in there trying to do what's right by myself, and we don't help each other, and we don't fill these membership meetings up, it will never change. It will only get worse. Now, Brother Miguel says we need Teamsters. But Teamsters got business unions, company unions too. Yeah, they got a good international president who ain't afraid of the UPS. But they still got sellout locals too. We don't need anybody except each other, Brother Miguel and others. We need each other. We need to fight for and help each other. Like y'all see me, you see that's that crazy man out there with a bullhorn at the park. You can do the same thing. I'm speaking up for my coworkers. I'm speaking up for you. I'm speaking up for you and me. I'm trying to show you that you are the union, not the Teamsters, not the ATU. If anything, the Teamsters, the ATU, SEIU, all of them are nothing but security rackets that take your money and offer you a little bit of protection, like a mafia. Ain't nobody as strong as we are when we stand together in pairs of two or more. I see it happening every day when I help my coworkers fight for their rights at Howard Shop and other places. Stop believing in these people. Stop worshiping these international presidents and these presidents. We are the union, and we're going to take it over. But I'm telling y'all, this is it. I am not going to keep sticking my head in this meat grinder. And y'all don't want to show up and help out. Because I'm getting sick of this. The ATU and Local 308, these people, they do whatever the hell they want. And you want to elect me and you want to run me to run for office? But some of y'all say you don't like the way I talk. I ain't going to change. So, go in there and you do something. But at the same time, eventually they're going to get me. Hopefully I'll be out before they do. Okay? Hopefully I'll be out with my pension and whatever before they do. Because they are getting sick of me. Because I'm going to tell them exactly what I think of them. So should you. So will this be my last report? Maybe. Because I'm fed up. When I saw that international president sit there in silence as President Dixon violated my democratic rights to have my motion voted on because I just admitted it, didn't I? I'm that member. Whoops. So, yeah, they love basketball and softball league, right, Miguel? Yeah, they buy you off with that. They love parties and baseball and booze. That's the union for you. Anyways, thanks for listening. I have to wind down and go to bed. I really wish y'all would start taking this thing seriously and get involved because these union officers, especially John the King Costa, they don't care about us one bit. All they care about is money. And that's why John Costa's traveling all over the country, because he knows that the members are sick and tired of him selling us out. They're sick and tired of it. And he's got to have his bodyguards and all this crap. But y'all got to stand up. And you don't like me, fine. You don't like what I say, fine. But you still got to stand up and fight. Don't use me as an excuse. Thank you, Brother Colin. All right, everybody. Peace be with you. Remember, it's our union.